strategies for Canadian National Railway, located in Homewood, Illinois, and is responsible for strategic acquisitions, line sales, short line partnerships in the U.S. Prior to his role, he held the position of Director of Sales and Industrial Products, Director of Regional Sales, and Director of Service. Tom started his career in marketing with Santa Fe Railroad in 1989 and joined Illinois Central in 1995, which was acquired by CN in 1999. So we'd like to invite you up and hand it off to you. Thanks.
Good afternoon. Thanks, John. Pleasure being here on behalf of CN and my colleagues here. Appreciate the opportunity to present to everyone. I'd like to spend a few minutes giving you a little bit of an overview of CN and then talk a little bit about what we do in Michigan and then specifically in the UP, and then wrap it up with a couple of initiatives that we have going on today. So the CN employs over 23,000 employees throughout North America, which is primarily the U.S. and Canada. We've got over 20,000 route miles in North America, and we handled $9.9 billion in revenue last year, looking and hoping to surpass $10 billion this year. In terms of capital, not unlike a lot of the other Class 1s, we invest heavily in our infrastructure, almost 17 to 18% of our revenue per year, which is pretty significant compared to other industries. This year alone, we're going to spend $2 billion on capital, which includes track, maintenance, repairs, our rolling stock, which is about 10% of that, which is cars and so forth. What's unique about CN is how we're laid out. We run from coast to coast in Canada. We run from Vancouver and Prince Rupert all the way over to Halifax in eastern Canada. And then we come straight down the heartland of the country, of the U.S., all the way down to New Orleans and Mobile. What's also unique is our portfolio of commodities that we handle. It's very diverse. We handle intermodal, we handle chemicals and petroleum, grain and fertilizers, forest products, et cetera. But what makes it unique is that we have a good balance. So, for instance, coal has taken a little bit of a hit the last couple of years. We've had the ability to offset the coal that we handle with some of our other commodities like crude and frac sand and so forth. So it's a good balance, and it provides good access for our customers as well. First and foremost at CN is our culture of safety. You know, it's very important to us that we make sure every employee goes home at night to his family. It's a big focus of ours. From a metric standpoint, we spend a lot of time making sure that we're measuring the right things to ensure we have a safe environment. In fact, we're making a couple big investments this year and next. We're putting in a new training facility, one in Winnipeg and one in Homewood, Illinois, to help with our training, bringing on new people, and focusing on safety. Just going to touch briefly here on productivity, some of the things that are important from a measurement standpoint at CN. What we try to do is maximize our asset utilization, not unlike any other business of those folks in the room here, but how do you create the most efficiency in your network? For us, we want to make sure that the trains are moving quickly. We want to make sure that our assets and our cars are turning quickly so we have more available and there's fluidity in the system. And what that does is it creates some consistency, and that's what our customers want. Our customers are looking for consistency in our network. They know when to expect their shipments. A new initiative that we took on late last year, and we're starting to implement it across our railroad this year, is a new customer service team, which is our service delivery team. Previously, we had customer service representatives kind of spread out throughout our network, which on one hand was good because they were close to the operations and they were close to our customers, and it worked really well at the time. But what we're doing now is we're creating centers, focal points for our customer service. We're going to have one in Edmonton, Alberta, we're going to have one in Montreal, and then we've got one in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. And then we have a small one down here in Geismar. But the whole idea is that we have some consistency and uniformity, and we have individuals that are focused on the customers in that territory. One of the things that we're focused on in terms of this new customer center is having a single point of contact. So when a customer calls, they generally get the same person each time, someone who knows their business and knows how to react. We're also trying to be a little bit more proactive with our customers and giving them information before they call us for it. Even if it's bad news, I think most people want to hear if their car's not going to arrive, they want to be given a heads up that it's not going to arrive so they can create another plan, have some backup plan for that. So we're almost a year into this new system for service delivery, and we've got more adjustments to make. We've got more improvements that we're going to make over time, but so far we think it's creating the right balance of having a live person and also having the ability for our customers to go online and access the tools that we have. Over the last 10 years, CN's made over $500 million in investments within the state of Michigan. Again, that includes a lot of the infrastructure that I talked about, the maintenance, the track work, and a lot of the capital programs that we've put in. Specifically in the Upper Peninsula, we've done about $100 million worth of improvements during that time. We have 950 miles of track in Michigan, and as Posse mentioned earlier, we've got 511 up in the UP. And throughout the state of Michigan, we have over 1,000 employees, which are primarily our train and engine men. We have an office in Troy, Michigan, which includes a lot of our marketing folks and some of our operating folks. In terms of business specifically in the Upper Peninsula, last year we handled over 80,000 carloads within this section of the state. That's primarily iron ore, paper, and logs. The iron ore will move primarily through Escanaba. A lot of it's coming up from the Ishpeming area, from the ore mines there coming through Escanaba and going for export. We also do a lot of paper out of Quinnipiac, which is Verso facility, and out of New Page in Escanaba, and they also take in a lot of logs as well. Somebody had asked a question earlier about how do they move out of this area, and generally speaking, a lot of the paper will go to the printing companies, R.R. Donnelley, Quad Graphics, and so forth, and those are generally in Wisconsin or beyond our network. So we will take them through Wisconsin, come through Chicago, and then hand them off to another railroad, which will take them to the final delivery. Just to give you a little bit of a snapshot on our log business, the CN in 2012 handled over 24,000 log shipments throughout our entire network, but a majority of that, well over 80%, was Wisconsin and Michigan. We've invested quite a bit of money in flat cars, which is what we use to haul log shipments. We have over 1,000 cars in our fleet today, and over the last 5 years, we've spent about $21 million in new cars, as well as in rehabbing the cars that we have. It doesn't come without its challenges. The gentleman over here talked about short haul business. Logs tend to be short haul shipments from a log landing to a paper mill, and because of that, it can be a challenge for creating density in those lines. A lot of them come from low density lines, and that creates some of the challenges that we have in Michigan as well as in Wisconsin. Some of the other challenges that we have is the uncertainty of the paper market and where is this business going to go. And finally, in terms of keeping our fleet up to speed and updated, the cars are expensive. They're well over $100,000 for a new flat car. So in terms of trying to do the ROI on that, it takes a lot to justify and help us put a business case together to get new cars. But we have been able to do a little bit of that over the last few years. Some of the initiatives that we're working on today with our customers, I mentioned the first mile, last mile, or excuse me, I mentioned the service delivery that we have taken on. We also recently started a CN advisory board in Wisconsin, and this is a collaborative effort that we've put together with a group called the WC Group, which is a collaboration of customers within Wisconsin. And the whole idea there is, working together on kind of a higher level with customers to determine what the needs are of our customers. How do we grow freight rail in Wisconsin in that case? We've got a couple subcommittees that we've put together, one for intermodal, one for log shipments, trying to identify those opportunities. It's only about a year in the making so far, so it remains to be seen how successful we'll be, but so far the dialogue has been very good. First mile, last mile is a big focus of the freight industry. Tom Carper mentioned earlier how important it is from a passenger standpoint, but from a rail standpoint, it's very important that the railroads do a really good job of getting the product and the movement of commodities from point A to point B in terms of terminal to terminal. But it's that last mile, so it's in the terminal, and the customer can see the cars, but they can't quite get them. And that's been a big focus of not only CN, but the rail industry to make sure that we're completing that last mile. We can get a car from Vancouver to Chicago in 4 days, but sometimes it takes 4 days to get it from the terminal in Chicago to the customer's door in Chicago. So that's something that we're working on. Supply chain collaboration, something else that we've been working on the last couple of years when our new CEO came on board, Claude Mongeau, in 2010. He wanted to focus on not only being more customer-centric, but also making sure that the whole supply chain is connected. So it's not just CN being worried about the rail piece and the port being worried about their piece, but how do we get all the players together and all the stakeholders together to make sure that the whole supply chain is working smoothly. We have a lot of e-business tools that complement our customer service group, and we encourage our customers to do that. And we're trying to improve on our car ordering process all the time with our customers to make sure that they're getting the right cars that they need at the right time. So finally, just to wrap up, CN is committed to making investments not only in Michigan, but throughout our network. We realize that it's not just about maintaining our track, which is important, but it's also about growing the business in specific areas. And we're willing to make that commitment, or make that capital investment, and we continue to look forward to working with the folks in Michigan and growing our business together. Thank you.
Any questions for Tom?
Can you say a little bit about what kind of goods traffic is coming through either at Port Huron and Detroit through on CN lines?
I don't know the breakdown exactly, but I would say it's all commodities, really. We have a lot of intermodal that comes through there. We have some automotive that goes through there, and there's probably some paper that moves to and from both ways, too. It's a pretty busy gateway for us, getting in between Canada and U.S. Detroit specifically, though, we've actually got a growing segment of our intermodal business is starting to really pick up. A lot of it inbound and a lot of it outbound as well. So there's a pretty good mix there.